Bob uh, claimed that Allah deceives, and so Allah is behaving like Satan. Um, he mentioned the deception of Jesus's crucifixion if Jesus wasn't crucified. So it's the intention that's important. When you deceive people, it's the intention that is important. If you're deceiving people to save the life of the prophet, or save someone who is good, when evil people are after that person, then it is okay to deceive. If I, uh, well, I'm not going to go into that in case YouTube deletes my video, which they like to do. Let's go back on topic. So Bob mentioned Surah 6, verse 124, how the Quran states, when there comes to them a sign, um, he mentioned the verse 125, but I want to read from 123 first so that we get a bit of a context. Thus have we placed leaders in every town, its wicked men to plot therein, but they only plot against their own souls and they perceive it not. And we're talking about politicians here, or religious leaders, because they have also been deceiving. For instance, when they were trying to ensure that we all get the needle post 2020, it was a deception that many politicians were involved in, certainly at higher government level. And so these are the evil people that are trying to make money, and uh, they plot against their own people in order to exert the control and increase their own wealth. When there comes to them a sign from God, they say, we shall not believe until we receive one exactly like those received by God's apostles. God knows best where and how to carry out his mission. Soon will the wicked be overtaken by humiliation before God and a severe punishment for all their plots. So we're talking about wicked people here, wicked people that are plotting against the average person. We're talking about psychopaths here, and we're talking about maybe Bob's one of them. These sorts of people who are, maybe they're getting money from people like Epstein, people like Tommy Robinson, who were funded by paedophiles claiming they're opposing paedophiles. So we continue. Those whom God in his plan willeth to guide, he opens their breast to Islam. Those whom he wills to leave straying, he makes their breasts close and constricted, as if they had to climb up to the skies. Thus does God heap the penalty on those who refuse to believe. So we're talking about evil people who refuse to believe. They refuse to believe in the first instance. So, and they've carried out evil acts like Bush and Blair and the Clintons and the Trumps of the world and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. So we're talking about evil people who have murdered to line their own pockets, okay? And perhaps even people who are taking funding from paedophiles like Tommy Robinson, and I don't know, maybe Bob is one of them, and Allah makes them even more hard hearted, okay, because they are wicked and evil and plotting and killing people, plotting against people and killing people. Bob went on to talk about how Muslims uh, enslave people and are unjust and rape, etc. But his people, his Christian people, committed genocide in Australia, committed genocide in America, are attempting genocide in West Asia. And once they've dealt with that, then they'll go on to commit genocide elsewhere in order to brainwash people into their warped, idolatrous thinking, as they did with the Aboriginal children that they kidnapped in Australia. And to implement taxation. Now, the level of taxation in Western countries, that is slavery in itself. And I suggest people watch a bit of Larkin Rose because um, he is very intelligent and understands the Western slavery system and how it's operating. Um, and they want to enslave us even more with this carbon taxation and carbon credits. Allah has given us free food, free air, free water, but they're always trying to control it and not let people grow food in the gardens and not let people have chickens and hens in their garden. Alhamdulillah, when you go to Pakistan, people have got chickens, hens, uh, cattle wandering around the streets. They have them in the gardens, and there's no rules. But here, the rules and the enslavement is next level. I really don't know what Bob's talking about. Um, yeah, and the evilness and the oppression somehow. I don't know why this image has changed. Let me just scroll up. But commit genocide in America, the Americans were killing the buffalo and made it almost extinct. And then they were posing uh, with photographs of the skulls. There was one particular photograph that I wanted to draw people's attention to. It was this, but there at the bottom, there's a gentleman posing, and this is horrific. It's horrific. Uh, the level of killing that they took part in, they had no mercy. And in the Quran, it talks about these sorts of people that uh, they talk about how they're out to create peace and no doubt democracy, but they kill cattle and destroy crops. And not only do they do that, they kill innocent people. They commit genocide. I'd like to draw Bob's attention to this video by David Ewing Jr. Well, he's interviewed in it. He's done a lot of research and looked into Flamenco's research, and he talks about Christianity and how the Pope was in, Europe was actually a Muslim society. The Europeans were Muslim. They believed in the one God, and the Pope wanted to change that. He wanted to control them. He wanted to change it. So he had millions murdered, and they decorated uh, the dungeons or the basements of the churches with their bones. Because anybody that believed in one God, they had to be killed. So this is just a website that uh, names the different churches with the human bones. And I personally think uh, Bush Skull and Bone Society is based on that. They were those cannibals, and they probably still are. According to David Icke, the ruling class still are bone munchers, and they are those wicked people whose chest Allah has tightened. Those are the people Allah is talking about, the evil ones who have killed and raped innocent girls. And they still go on doing that in the in West Asia, aka Middle East. And here is Bush talking about how he wants to spread. Honestly, I cannot bear to listen to these people. They're such hypocrites. They spew such lies and filth that is the opposite of what they actually do. I can't bear their voices. Um, so if you're interested in listening to what he says, you can watch it yourselves. But I personally can't bear to hear. But anyway, I'll call it a day at the moment. I think I've covered quite a few areas. There were a few others that I wanted to pick up on, but I'll leave it at that for now. I pray that Allah guides you, protects you, and gives you peace. It's unfortunate that at um, at Speaker's Corner there is such rivalry, and everybody wants to hold on to their belief and be, you know, um, die for their belief, whether it's right or wrong. But you have to look at the truth, the actual truth of what has been going on in the world. Okay, I pray Allah guides you, forgives you, and gives you peace. Allahu Akbar and Allah Hafiz.